So today we are going to look at the formation and meta tactics for 4-1-2-1-2 brackets 2. I've been using this since the start of the game and last FIFA, and I'm just finding it very good for my style of play. So I wanted to show you guys how it works. So here are the tactics. You want to have defensive style on balance, width on 70, depth on 32, build up play on balance, chance creation on direct passing, width on 70. You want to have 7 players in the box, so make sure it says 7 on that. 1 on corners and 1 on free kick, but you can change this depending on your style of play. I just don't like being countered on corners, so I have it on 1, and the same for free kicks. But if you've got good at corners or set pieces, you can always knock this up to 2 or 3 depending on how you feel. Just be careful of the counter attack from that. Then we go to our formation, and as you can see here, 4-1-2-1-2. Are you tired of playing sweat teams like this? Make sure you go to Alt Nice, select foot 23 coins, choose which console and how many coins you'd like to buy, select your payment method, and don't forget to add code NANIC for 6% off on all orders. So how I like to play this formation is my striker and my second most attacking winger or other striker to play up to 2. Doesn't matter which one. Normally I like to have my left footer on the right hand side and my right footer on the left hand side so I can finesse, but it doesn't matter too much. Your cam is going to be your second or most attacking centre attacking midfielder you can use. Your left centre mid can either be your most defensive or most attacking, and I'll explain why in a second. And the same for your right centre mid. It can be your most defensive and most attacking, depending on how you set up your custom tactics. Your CDM is going to be your most defensive midfielder, and then obviously your back line is how it is. In terms of instructions, you're going to want to have one of your strikers on get in behind, stay forward, other 2 on default and default. Your second striker, this is completely down to preference. I did have it before on comeback on defense, but I have now changed it because you were lacking. So I like to keep it all on default, and this is because he rotates with your cam, who's also on default. So imagine it as a triangle of Gabriel, Rashford and Bernardo. Rashford and Bernardo will rotate round, a bit like how they do in real life now in football, whereas your left striker or Jesus will always stay forward. So what I tend to do is, with De Jong, who's going to be our second most attacking midfielder, I like to push the ball forward with De Jong picking up in midfield, dribble forward, play a 1-2 pass to Bernardo. Then I have 4 players ready to attack, all on one side because Rashford, Bernardo and De Jong will rotate in a triangle, in a nice little triangle formation where you can pass it around into the space. I will show some examples. So as you can see, this example here, De Jong's on the ball. He was playing in our right centre mid role. We have got Bernardo Silva and Rashford just in front of him, and Jesus just a little bit on top of the pitch. The beautiful thing about this is, as you can see, Bernardo Silva's calling for the ball as we drive forward with De Jong. We've got ourselves at Rashford and Jesus ready to run. As you keep an eye on Jesus, he will peel off into that last man role, as we said. But watch De Jong as he's pointing the ball forward to run into the space. And now we have an open pocket where we have an option here whether to either play it to De Jong and shoot, or we can pass it over to Jesus. And that is the powerful thing with having that triangle with the cam, the 2 strikers, and having your right centre mid as that triangle that I mentioned. And Gabriel Jesus will be ready to attack on the last man. If you manage to take your defenders out with some little slick passing, you've got yourself a 3-on-2 almost every single time. You want to have here your second most defensive midfielder. So normally I would actually swap these 2 over. And then you would have your second most defensive here as well as having your most attacking there. And that is because when you do not have the ball, with these instructions that you have, your cam will go to left mid. Your right centre mid will go to right mid. Your CDM will sit in the middle next to your second defensive midfielder who is on stay back while attacking. So they turn into a flat 4-4-2 when you do not have the ball, making you extremely compact and very hard to break down. As soon as you win the ball, your 4 players here, your 2 strikers, your cam and your right centre mid immediately snap into the 4-1-2-1-2. So example number 2 is we've just scored to make it 1-1. Our opponent has a kickoff. I'm pushing up with my right back and using RB or R1 to make De Jong there with the green triangle above his head press into that space. As you can see, the triangle 3 at the top haven't moved yet, and this is because of kickoff. But keep an eye on Zachariah and Dan Juma, who I've just selected there, because they will come over as soon as our opponent moves to go infield. And the crazy thing about this is if you read it right, and I switch to De Jong here, and I'm waiting for him to make the pass in, because as soon as I intercept this pass, like here, bang, we now have ourselves a 4-on-1 into a 3-on-1. And it's just very easy like that. Cross the back post and we've got ourselves a goal. This formation will give you that opportunity every single time and push forward. So this is really good for compact defending. If you're not great at defending, this is going to help you massively. And then you can push forward and attack. Your left back and right back, and again, this is down to personal preference, but I found this is to be the most balanced. You want to have stay back while attacking and overlap on both of them. And let me explain why. So let's say your opponent has a corner, he crosses the ball into the box, your goalkeeper collects the ball. Immediately, your 4 attacking midfielders and strikers that I've mentioned go straight up the field, ready to attack. And you now have a choice. You can push your left back or your right back up the pitch. What I like to do is say we're in this scenario here. Our right centre mid, our cam and our 2 strikers are pushed up the field. I play the ball to my left back. Our opponent who's trying to defend him will basically try and tackle the ball off him. So if you do a long switch to your right centre mid, you've literally opened up so much space in one pass because you've taken out about 4 or 5 players. So in this example here, our opponent has a corner, our goalkeeper saves, and immediately I run out looking for my left back or my left centre back. So Saliba picks the ball up here, but I've noticed Rashford and De Jong are together. So I'm going to switch this to Rashford and then do the LB or L1 pass to De Jong to push Rashford up the field. So as soon as we pass the ball over, Rashford collects straight into De Jong. Now I have many options here. I can immediately play the ball into the 2 strikers in the middle of the pitch, or I can hold the ball and wait for Rashford to overtake while our 2 strikers still make those runs in behind. Or I can even switch it to the far right to either that's Dan Juma or whoever your midfielder is. But you have so many options from this just from his corner to be able to attack. If you're good at skill, you can push forward. And immediately you've got these 3 players here, your cam, your striker and your right centre mid, in that triangle that I mentioned, rotating around each other, giving you the space, and the same for your right back. But as soon as these 2 pass the ball, they will turn around and come back into position. So you're never caught out with the left back or right back being out of position. The only way you will be caught out is if you push them up yourself and you don't bring them back. But if you get tackled and when you're bringing him up, he won't run back. You have to control him. But if you pass it, he will turn around and run back. So you've always got a back 5 because your CDM is going nowhere. He's going to stay just in front of your 2 centre-backs with your left back and right back coming back. So that has been today's team and tactics. Let me know what you think about these. If you need any help with anything, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you love FIFA 23 content, we're going to cover everything. And I will catch you in the next one. See ya.